Graphic 45 tutorial video. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to create your own elegant and simple scrapbook layouts. I'm Charee Filimoehala with Graphic 45, one of the creative developers here, and I am so excited to teach you how to use some of our busier papers to create simple, beautiful projects. So in this project, I am going to teach you how to use some of our border papers to create this nice frame look, as well as how to fussy cut, and just to create something beautiful to share with your loved ones. So this is a part of our club G45 series. If you want to know more about that, there is information in the description below. You can join the club, or you can just follow along with this project or any of the other ones linked in our channel. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So in this tutorial, I am going to teach you how to recreate this elegant and super simple layout using our Steampunk Debutante collection. But a lot of our Graphic 45 lines have these gorgeous border papers in them. So you could replace this tutorial using most Graphic 45 collections. So now that I gave you an up-close look at what we're going to be creating, what you're going to need to play along with us if you want it to look just like ours, is we're using the Steampunk Debutante Deluxe Collector's Edition, which is has just been reprinted and available. And in the Deluxe Collector's Edition, you get a 12 by 12 sticker sheet, as well as this chipboard that I'm showing you here. And we'll be using the chipboard that comes in there. And also our Graphic 45 antique brass door knockers and our Venetian lace Decades ink. So go ahead and get started on that. I'm just going to move this DIY junk journal out of the way that we made the other tutorial for. So if you want to follow along with that one after you're done with this layout, I highly encourage you to do so. And the first step you're going to want to do is to print out this printable project sheet, or pull it out from your club kit if you are a club member. There's a link in the description of this video below. Just check it out and you can just click on that and print this PDF, which will give you step-by-step directions on how to create that DIY junk journal, as well as this butterfly layout. So after you've printed that out, we're going to take the signature sheet from Steampunk Debutante, and we are going to do some simple cutting on this. We are going to cut off the strip here on the left-hand side, and from there we are going to be using the top and bottom squares, as well as this beautiful steampunk goddess just here. And then with our leftover piece, we are going to be cutting it down to 9 by 9 inches. This is going to be for our layout, and the rest of that sheet, you'll have some stamps left over and this other beautiful steampunk goddess that you can use on another project. And then we will also be using our Time Flies 12 by 12 sheet. All we have to do to prep this sheet is cut off this info strip. Easy peasy. So just cut off that info strip and we can go ahead and get started on our layout. So with whatever collection you're using, if you happen to be using another Graphic 45 line, you'll just want to measure the window inside your border and then cut a design paper or a decorative paper to go just inside that border area. So ours for this is 9 by 9 inches, which makes it really nice and easy. And if you do want to make this a little more dimensional, then Maria Cole, our amazing special project designer, has created hers. I know a lot of people want to put these inside albums with your other 12 by 12 layouts, so you want to keep it more on the flat side. But if you do want to put it up on like some chipboard, mat board, or have it as a home decor piece, you can always add some more dimension. So I'm going to try that with mine. So I'm just using some Tombow foam tape, can see it here. Let me grab that pen I just threw at you. And it is nice and easy to use since I'm going to be using such a big popping up such a large area. And I don't want to have dents all over, so I'm going to just be using that. I've got to open up this one, but it's so easy to use. But you can also use, this is a great time to repurpose some of that cardboard you've got laying around your house and just cut a piece that's slightly smaller that you won't see and pop it underneath there. Here we go. I'm just gonna take this off and be back shortly. All right, while I was peeling the backing off of my foam tape, I realized that I hadn't quite burnished down my tape as well as I should have, so it's doing a little bit of bubbling, which shouldn't be a problem once I glue it down. But just to note when using an adhesive like this that you do want to burnish that down before you pull it up. And then just with any foam tape, it is nice to have like a sharp pin or object, scissors to peel up that tape and get you going. And now that we have that prepped, we can go ahead and adhere this down. Just want to make sure my corners are aligning. There we have it. I'm just going to take a bone folder to make sure that that is all nice and attached. So you can see it's just added a little pop of dimension, which is looking good. And another thing that really has this pop and stand out is just adding a little bit of that vintage Venetian lace ink to those edges. So you can see that I have prepped this to already get that done for you up in those corners. And you can see how beautiful that looks. If you want to add some more once you've got that, you can always do that, as well as on your edges of your butterfly border if you'd like. And I would suggest when you're doing that, you just want to either have a craft mat down or something on the plastic side that'll help the ink move around nice and easily, because it will, your ink blending tool will pick up that ink off of the plastic and then put it back onto your project and gives it a nice smooth look. So you go as wild as you want with the ink or leave it off if you like. I'll just show you. So here is an uninked corner and then an inked up corner. So just if you like things a little more vintagey, go for it and try it out. So now that we have that step completed, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next step, which is going to be, we're gonna take our mechanical mind paper and we are gonna just be cutting out some nice photo mats, which is really nice about these darker papers. There's a beautiful side on this side, but the dark papers do make for great photo mats. So we're just gonna be cutting out a few different rectangles and squares from there. The first one's gonna be 4.5 by 6.5. And then we are gonna do a 4.5 by 3, a 4.5 by 2.5, and then our last square is gonna be 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So nice, easy measurements. And then we're gonna be creating some smaller photo mats that are just gonna go right on top of there that'll pop, making your photos look great. And this is using our Garden Gears paper. So from the Garden Gears paper, we are gonna cut up photo mats that are just gonna be slightly smaller than what we just cut. So this largest one is gonna be at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. Our square is gonna be at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And our smallest rectangle will be 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. And then 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. And so you can see how those nicely fit on there. I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing these down, and we don't want them all to be just like this. We are gonna have our photo mats where we'll pop our photos on. Those will be the rest on the gear, and then the other two, our long, tall rectangles, will be with the rose side up, adding just a bit more dimension to our projects. So I'm gonna go ahead and adhere those down. All right, for these photo mats, I have been gluing these down with some of our Tombow Mono liquid glue. I really like how nicely this comes out of the spout in a nice fine line, and working with liquid I really enjoy personally because it is a little more forgiving than some of those other tape rollers are. And then I'm just going to use a nice little brayer to get this down once I have it where I want it to go. You can see that I might have squished a little extra glue out of there, so just taking a damp paper towel and clear that up. So there you have it. We've got our photo mats ready to go. So we are ready to move on to our next step. So with our next step, we are going to be taking this gorgeous fantasy floral paper that I've got here. You can see that this is just begging to be fussy cut with all these nice roses with these great brown lines. That makes it a little bit easier to fussy cut. And you know, of course, it's gorgeous on both sides, but we're gonna be using this paper to create our own embellishments, which you gotta love. So I'm just gonna show you, move these photo mats to the side, how easy it is to just pull apart when you're looking at a busy paper like this, that you can just pull it apart to create your own embellishments. So this we've just loosely cut around. And now we're gonna go ahead and take some of our fine tip scissors and fussy cut around this. So whenever you're fussy cutting, especially with a 12 by 12 inch paper, it's always nice to kind of plan ahead and look at that paper and how you wanna use it, because you don't wanna go cutting into the paper and cut into an image that you might wanna use later. But then once you've decided how you want to use those images, you're just gonna go ahead and take your scissors and loosely cut around the images that you'd like. That way, when you are doing your cuts and really getting into those details to create these DIY embellishments, it's nice and easy and you're not working with this big bulky paper. It makes it much more enjoyable. We have a lot of amazing brand ambassadors from all around the world on our G45 team, and it's fun to watch their different Instagrams and social media accounts, because you'll see a lot of them as soon as they get a new collection in their hands. Before they even start creating any projects, they'll take some of these papers, some of these sheets like this one, and just sit down to one of their favorite programs or TV shows and start cutting, and they'll cut, you know, a few pages worth of embellishments before they even start on a project. And then a lot of them have told us that that's how they get the inspiration of what they're going to be creating. So that's our first image from this sheet. We are going to be fussy cutting a bunch of different flowers as well as some of the leaves, and we are just popping these off the page. See, we've done a little pre-cutting, and I'm gonna go ahead and do these a little bit faster. have Fussy cut out our roses, we're gonna just do some nice inking of those edges. This will help blend in all those flowers when we're adding them on as embellishments onto our projects. It also hides the white pieces or any imperfections you may have. You can also try, instead of using ink, I know if you want your embellishments to stand out even more, you can try using like a nice black marker if you want them to really pop, or whatever color coordinates the best with your cuts. You can just take that marker and just outline the edges. I know with a lot of our Shabby Chic brand ambassadors, they love using a nice white gel pen or a white paint marker to get those fussy cuts to really stand out. All right, so now we can go ahead and start putting it all together. Just finish this up, and we are gonna pull out those antique brass door knockers and our chipboard to add some extra dimension. So we're gonna be using one of these door knockers, and we're gonna be using this gorgeous butterfly piece here. So I'm gonna put my fussy cuts to the side as well as these photo mats so we have it all ready to use. And then I'm gonna take that chipboard piece I just popped out of there and ink up that edge. So you can see it already had some antiquing, but just adding some more really makes it pop and blend in nicely. And then we will be using two cute little button dots. We're using two of these with the woman with the gears in her hair. And you'll want to do the same with those, just adding some ink to those so they pop up as well. And we'll go ahead and we'll start prepping this. We're not going to glue this down on our layout just yet, but we will be prepping this embellishment so it has a little bit of time to dry while we finish up. So those little circle dots are going to pop up on this chipboard. Like so. And then we will add our door knocker to this as well. So I'm just using that Tombow mono adhesive. You can use E6000, hot glue, Ranger glossy accents for our metal embellishments, but whatever you prefer. So I'm going to put this right over that beautiful butterfly. And then put this off to the side to dry. Alrighty, so now that that is drying, now we can start adhering our large photo mats. So we're gonna be doing these two first, and then this nice photo mat that'd be perfect for a 4x6 inch photo. So as always, I always like to do some pre-arranging before we start adhering things down. And this wider rectangle is just gonna go a little bit underneath this photo mat. It's about a ½ an inch from the top and the left-hand side. And then this one's about, looks like just about an inch from the bottom and a 1/4 of an inch from the right-hand side. So now that I have figured out my placement for things, I can go ahead and start adding my adhesive. All right, so adhesive has been applied, and now our first photo mat that's gonna go down, or It's gonna be this flower one, and I'm using liquid adhesive so we can always move these things around. So this is gonna slide down just about an inch from the top, and still we wanna go over quite a bit. Looks like that is where we are going to want these two to be placed. And now we can go ahead, grab our bone folder, and burnish these. Just wipe off any excess adhesive, and then we'll do our last flower piece over here on the bottom. It's about an inch from the bottom and an fourth of an inch from the right-hand side. Beautiful. And now we are going to add our other embellishments. So our other photo mat, this is going to be great for those square photos. And now we're going to take some of these other pieces that we have cut out and start applying these. So as long as, and then we have our fussy cuts. We're going to take our red and our yellow roses and one of our leaf sets that we cut out, and these two squares, and these are going to start going under there. And I'm going to be using this liquid adhesive so I can start sliding those roses underneath here once I adhere down our first lady. So I'm going to do this one. Here, and then my leaves are going to go over here with my red rose tucked here and the yellow down here. All right. So just grabbing that adhesive, start gluing your pieces down. You can see it's just a bit of a puzzle, and however you like it. If you like things more dimensional, be sure to add some more foam tape or make sure we get this nice on there. And she is ready to be popped up under these roses. Looking good. And I'm actually going to take this foam adhesive off for now. So I have space to add in my photo underneath here. And then I can add the adhesive after that. So now all we have left to do is add on our last beautiful steampunk goddess and our create our beautiful rose scene down here for that chipboard piece that we've already created. And just playing with it until you get it how you like it. And then once you have it all situated, we can go ahead and start adhering this down. And I do want to be conscious about where I'm gluing things so I can put that 4x6 photo down here as well, and then glue my pieces afterwards. Well, there you go. That is our easy peasy layout. It's elegant and beautiful, and you can see how we just cut up some of those busy papers and really made them work to our advantage. We hope you try this out with our Steampunk Debutante collection or whatever you've got at home, and we hope you share your projects with us on Instagram. You can use the Club G45 hashtag. And we also have a Facebook community group that we always love seeing your projects in there. So go ahead and post your projects using that Club G45 hashtag so we can see what you've come up with. And be sure to share any tips and techniques that you have found along the way. But just like that, we have another gorgeous layout. Just ready to capture your memories. So thank you so much for joining us, and as always, happy paper crafting.